The last transmission from Earth. You wanted war, now face the consequences. HFY Sci-Fi the galaxy had almost forgotten about Earth. Most of the species believed humans were gone. The Varian Combine, a powerful alien alliance, had attacked Earth years ago. They had bombarded the planet without mercy. Cities were destroyed, communication networks gone, and most of the human population was believed dead. After that, Earth went silent. No messages, no ships, no signs of life. The galaxy considered humans extinct. On a distant trade station far from Earth, a small patrol ship named the Orion Glide moved slowly through the station's docking bay. The ship belonged to the neutral species called the Trellin. They were curious and cautious, preferring to stay out of major conflicts. Saren, a Trellin officer, leaned over the ship's console as the crew checked signals from deep space. The station was quiet, mostly full of traders and minor diplomats. Saren was bored, and he hoped the signal scanners would pick up something interesting. Suddenly, one of the junior techs, a young Trellin named Kyren, shouted, "Sir, there's a signal." Saren straightened. "What do you mean?" "Earth has been silent for decades." Kyren's antennas twitched nervously. "It's weak, but it's human." Saren frowned. Human signals were rare these days. If humans had survived at all, they would have been in hiding. The message sounded strange. Kyren adjusted the scanner to amplify it. A voice came through the speakers. It was calm, steady, and human. "This is Earth Command. To the ones who brought war to our home, you wanted war. Now face the consequences." The message ended suddenly, leaving a strange silence. After a moment, another part of the signal played. It gave coordinates in deep space. The Trellin crew looked at each other in disbelief. The coordinates led to an area no major species had explored, far from trade routes, far from known worlds. "Kyren, are you sure this is real?" Saren asked. I
think so," Kyren stammered. "The signal is recent. It's not old."
Saren tapped the console thoughtfully. "If humans are still alive, that is remarkable. Most of the galaxy believes they are extinct." The Trellin captain, an older officer named Loran, walked over. "You are telling me Earth is sending messages now, after all this time?" Saren nodded. "Yes, Captain. And the message, it sounds like a warning." The captain raised an eyebrow. "A warning to whom?" Before anyone could answer, a communication alert arrived from another station. The Varian Combine had heard about the signal. They sent a fleet to investigate the coordinates, intending to finish what they had started decades ago. The galaxy, it seemed, had underestimated the humans. The Trellin crew watched as a fleet moved through space, massive ships with sharp edges and deadly weapons. Saren's antennas twitched nervously. "They are going to destroy whatever is there, I am sure of it."
"Maybe," Loran said quietly. "Or maybe they will find something they cannot handle."
Far from the Trellin station, hidden behind a thick nebula, humans were waiting. Decades of silence had not been idle. After the Varun attack, humans had rebuilt. They had moved underground and out to colonies in distant star systems. They had studied alien technology, trained for war, and built ships far stronger than anything the galaxy knew. They had learned patience. They had learned strategy. They had learned to survive. On the bridge of a human ship called the Vigilance, Commander Jake Morales stood silently. Beside him was Captain Lily Ross. The ship was dark, sleek, and massive. Hundreds of other ships moved in perfect formation behind them. No alarm sounded. No panic filled the air. Humans were calm. They had been waiting for this moment for a long time. "The fleet is approaching," Jake said softly. Lily looked at the holographic map. "They don't know what's coming. And they will be surprised." In the Varuan fleet, the alien commanders assumed the coordinates would lead to wreckage, or a trap they could crush easily. They did not know that humans had survived, or that they had grown strong while the galaxy thought they were weak. Their scans detected nothing at first, just empty space. The Varuan officers laughed. "Nothing here," said a commander named Zareen. "These humans are extinct. This is pointless. But as they moved closer, their sensors began to fail. Long-range scans went blank. Communication between ships became unstable. Panic slowly spread through the Varan ranks. Zarin's face darkened. What is happening? Why can't we detect them? Then, massive shapes appeared from the shadows of the nebula. Human ships, not just a few. Hundreds, each one armed and ready. The Varian fleet froze. The humans had been hiding in stealth, waiting for the right moment. The ships moved with precision. Each formation was perfect, each movement calculated. On the Vigilance, Jake Morales gave a single order. Prepare to engage. Disable engines. No warnings. The human ships fired. Not immediately with full weapons, but with precise strikes that disabled the Varian engines before the aliens could even react. Entire squadrons fell apart without a single human ship lost. The Varuan realized too late that they had underestimated humans. On another human ship, Officer Chloe Diaz coordinated communications. Even in the middle of battle, humans rescued surviving alien crew members from damaged ships. It confused the Varuan. They expected humans to be monsters, but they were disciplined, organized, and even compassionate. "This is impossible," said a Varuan officer, staring at the screens showing the human fleet. "We destroyed their planet. We thought they were gone." How are they here?" Lily Ross replied quietly from the bridge of the Vigilance. "They underestimated us. They always did. We waited, and now it is our turn." As the first battle ended, the Varuan fleet attempted to retreat. Some ships tried to flee, others regrouped. But the human forces were already blocking escape routes. The humans were not reckless. They were not seeking glory. They were enforcing consequences. The galaxy would learn that humans did not forgive easily. Humans did not forget. Humans survived, and they adapted. In the midst of the chaos, a young human pilot named Ryan Clark flew through the battlefield with precision. He had trained for this moment his entire life. Alongside him, Maya Bennett and Ethan Cole moved in synchronized strikes, taking out enemy weapons while protecting civilian life. Humans fought hard, but they also protected wherever possible. The Varyun could not comprehend it. They had never faced an enemy like this before. On the Trellin station, Saren and Chiron watched the battle through live sensors. They could not believe what they were seeing. Humans. They survived, Saren whispered. And they are terrifying. Chiron's antennas trembled. "Sir, if they are like this, the galaxy will never be the same." The signal that had started it all continued to broadcast. It repeated the human warning across every frequency. You wanted war. Now face the consequences. The Trellin officers listened in silence. For the first time, they realized the truth. Humans were no longer the species the galaxy remembered. They were hidden, they were strong, and they were ready. And the Varyun combine, who thought they had destroyed a weak planet, were about to learn the cost of underestimating Earth. Far behind the nebula, Jake Morales looked at the stars. The human fleet was quiet now, waiting. They were not angry. They were focused. Decades of planning, rebuilding, and training had led to this moment. The galaxy had judged humans as weak. The galaxy had been wrong. Lily Ross stepped beside him. "They will remember this," she said calmly. "They will," Jake replied. "And we will make sure of it. They will never forget." Hidden behind the nebula, the human fleet prepared for the battles to come. The first message had been sent, the first strike completed, but the war of consequences had only begun. The galaxy was no longer safe to assume that Earth was weak. Humans were back. Humans survived. And now, the universe would see what it truly meant to face humanity. As the last signal from Earth echoed through space, the galaxy felt a chill. The warning was simple, direct and undeniable. You wanted war. Now face the consequences. The Varan fleet had never faced anything like this. Their ships were built for war, for power, for conquest. But the humans moved differently. They did not attack recklessly. They did not waste energy. Every strike was precise. every maneuver calculated. The Varian commanders could not understand it. Commander Zareen of the Varian flagship barked orders. Focus your fire on their flagship. Destroy it first. It is the command center. His subordinates tried to follow, but sensors were failing. Their long-range scanners could not track the human ships properly. Weapons misfired or shut down without explanation. One by one, their smaller ships were disabled before they could fire. Panic began to spread. Sir, their formation. It is changing, said a young officer. They are surrounding us without moving. How is that possible? Nothing moves like that. Nothing survives like that. Far behind the battlefield, hidden in deep space, the human fleet remained calm. Commander Jake Morales watched the Varan ships through the tactical display. He did not shout. He did not panic. Every move of the enemy was already calculated. He had seen this moment in simulations countless times. Decades of preparation led to this. Captain Lily Ross stood beside him. They think they are in control, she said. But control is only an illusion. On another human ship, Ryan Clark and Maya Bennett coordinated small strike teams. Their ships moved in pairs, covering each other, disabling Varan engines while avoiding damage. They did not destroy every ship at first. Their goal was control, not destruction. Humans were teaching the aliens a lesson, but not killing blindly. The Varyun flagship, frustrated, attempted a direct strike. It fired a massive plasma cannon aimed at the human fleet. The energy beam lit up space, threatening to wipe out multiple ships, but the humans had anticipated it. A squad of human interceptors, led by Ethan Cole, moved in seconds, disabling the cannon with precise electronic attacks and small torpedoes. The beam dissipated harmlessly into space. "How can this be?" Zareen shouted. "They're supposed to be weak." They should have been destroyed decades ago. Back on Earth, hidden colonies had been busy. Humans had learned to survive not just by hiding, but by adapting. They had built new engines, new weapons, and even new shields far beyond the technology of most species. The Varuan attacks had forced them to become smarter, faster, and stronger. Every ship in the fleet was built to anticipate attacks and respond instantly. On the Varuan ships, confusion grew. Some officers tried to retreat. Others attempted to fire blindly, hoping to hit something. Their formations fell apart. Humans moved like water around them, striking weak points, avoiding heavy fire, and always remaining coordinated. It was a fight no alien had ever imagined. Inside the Varyun flagship, a small team of humans had already boarded without the alien commanders noticing. Ryan Clark led them through corridors filled with flashing lights and confusion. Their mission was simple: disable the weapons before the aliens could harm the fleet further. They moved silently, carefully, and efficiently. On the bridge of the human flagship, Jake Morales issued another command. "Open all channels. Broadcast to every ship in sight." "Send the warning again." The human voice echoed across space. It repeated the same calm warning. "You wanted war. Now face the consequences."
Alien ships shook as the message spread. The words were simple, but the meaning was clear.
The humans were not only alive, they were in control. The Varian realized for the first time that their attack had not destroyed a weak species. It had created a disciplined, powerful, and determined enemy. Captain Lily Ross watched the battle unfold. "They do not understand us," she said softly, "and they will learn." The galaxy always underestimates humanity. On one Varun cruiser, a young officer named Velar looked out at the approaching human ships. His antennas twitched nervously. "Sir, what are we supposed to do? They are everywhere. They disable our engines before we can fire. Even our shields are failing," his commander roared. "Fight! Do not let them surround us! We are the strongest fleet in this sector." The human fleet moved like a single organism. Small strike teams disabled weapons, blocked escape routes, and forced ships into surrender positions. Yet humans rescued enemy crew members wherever possible. This confused the aliens even more. Humans were not monsters. They were precise, disciplined, and merciful when they could be. In the middle of the chaos, Ethan Cole's strike team reached the Varian flagship's main weapon systems. With quiet determination, they disabled the energy cannons. The beam that could have destroyed several human ships instantly became useless. The Varuan crew panicked further as their strongest weapon failed from inside. On another human ship, Chloe Diaz coordinated rescue pods. Damaged Varun ships released escape capsules, and humans pulled the aliens from the pods, taking them aboard. It was methodical. It was controlled. It was terrifying in its efficiency. The Varun had never seen an enemy that fought like this. "They are organized," muttered a Varun officer. "They fight, but they also save lives." "How can this be?" "It is human," another whispered. "They survive. They adapt. They never give up. Even when the world falls, they survive." Back on the human flagship, Jake Morales looked at the battle display. Hundreds of ships coordinated, moving in perfect formation, striking with precision. Not a single human ship had been lost. The Varun losses were mounting. Even the strongest of their vessels were crippled. Captain Lily Ross turned to Jake. "They expected an easy victory," she said. "They did not think we could survive. But we did, and now they will face the consequences." Far away, on the Trellin station, Saren and Chiron watched the fight unfold. The young Trellin could not believe what he was seeing. "Sir, the humans, they survived, but they are stronger than anything I imagined." "The galaxy will never forget this," Saren nodded slowly. "Humans are not the species most aliens understand. They adapt. They endure. They wait. And now, they are here." The Varun fleet attempted to regroup. They tried to form a defensive ring, but humans had already anticipated it. Small human squadrons moved to block exits, disable engines, and prevent retreat. The aliens realized too late that they had walked into a trap perfectly prepared. On one human ship, Ryan Clark sent a message to his team. "Disable the engines of the flagship completely. Leave them alive, but make sure they cannot fight." Minutes later, the Varuan flagship was immobilized. Alarms blared, but the humans were already boarding another critical ship to neutralize it. The battle moved swiftly, but humans maintained complete control. "We are losing control," Zareen screamed. "Everything is falling apart." His subordinates had no answers. Their best weapons were disabled. Their formations were scattered. Their crews were panicking. The humans had turned the galaxy's most feared fleet into a group of terrified ships with no way to escape. Jake Morales watched silently. Decades of preparation had led to this moment. Humans had survived the destruction of Earth, the loss of colonies, and the near extinction of their species. They had hidden, trained, rebuilt, and now the galaxy had learned that humans were not weak. They were not to be underestimated. Lily Ross placed a hand on his shoulder. "They will remember this day," she said, "and they will think twice before attacking another human world." The Varuan attempted one final strike. A massive energy weapon targeted a human squadron, but it was too late. The humans had already disabled its power source from inside the ship. The weapon fizzled, harmless, as the human squadron passed by. In the aftermath of the battle, the human fleet remained calm. Not a single ship had been lost. Alien casualties were high, but humans had preserved as many prisoners as possible. It was a demonstration, a lesson, and a warning. The galaxy would understand that humans were not to be toyed with. Far across the nebula, the Trellin patrol ship Orion Glide observed silently. Saren whispered, This changes everything." The galaxy thought humans were weak. They were wrong, deadly wrong. Chiron's antennas shivered. "Will the Varuan survive this?" Saren shook his head. "Maybe. But they will never attack a human world again. Humans are patient. Humans endure, and humans fight back when the time comes." Hidden behind the clouds of the nebula, the human fleet regrouped. Jake Morales stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the stars. Decades of planning, surviving, and rebuilding had led to this moment. Humans had survived, and now the galaxy would learn the cost of underestimating them. Lily Ross turned to him. "We have sent the first message," she said. "They will think twice before declaring war again." Jake nodded.
And the message is clear.
Humans do not forget. Humans do not forgive easily. You wanted war? Now face the consequences. The last signal from Earth echoed again across space. Calm, precise, and deadly. The galaxy had learned the truth. Humans were back, stronger than ever, and the consequences of attacking Earth would be remembered forever. Bavaran fleet was in chaos. Their ships were crippled, their formations destroyed, and their crews terrified. The humans had shown up quietly, but now they controlled the battlefield completely. For the first time, the Varun realized that the species they had believed weak was not only alive, but stronger, smarter, and far more dangerous than they had imagined.
On the human flagship, Commander Jake Morales watched the enemy movements carefully.
No human ships had been lost. Not a single attack had been wasted. Every maneuver, every strike had a purpose. He did not feel joy, only calm determination. Decades of planning and rebuilding had led to this moment. The humans were not angry. They were focused. Captain Lily Ross walked alongside him. "They don't understand how we fight," she said quietly. "They think strength is about numbers. But humans fight differently. We adapt. We endure. We survive." Jake nodded. "And they will remember this lesson for the rest of their lives." Small human strike teams moved through the battlefield like water. They blocked escape routes, disabled engines, and forced enemy ships into submission. They did not chase glory, and they did not destroy more than necessary. Their goal was control, not needless destruction. The Varayun had expected a weak species to crumble. Instead, they faced soldiers who were precise, disciplined, and unyielding. On one human cruiser, Officer Chloe Diaz coordinated rescue and recovery operations. Damaged Varan ships released escape pods, and humans pulled the aliens from the pods, taking them aboard. It was methodical and controlled. The humans were merciful when possible, showing the Varayun that their enemy was not a monster. They were a force the galaxy had misunderstood. "Why do they save us?" one young Varan officer whispered as he floated in the pod. "We destroyed their planet. We killed their people. Why are they helping us?" "They are human," another replied weakly. "They survive, they adapt, and they fight with purpose." Back on the human flagship, Jake gave orders to the strike teams moving in pairs. Ryan Clark, Maya Bennett, and Ethan Cole led small squads to disable the enemy flagship's remaining weapons and shields. They moved quickly and quietly, avoiding detection until they reached their targets. The aliens had no idea that humans were already inside critical systems, cutting off power and taking control. The Varan flagship tried to fire a massive energy cannon, hoping to destroy the human formations. Alarms blared as the cannon charged, but a human strike team had already disabled the energy conduits. The weapon fizzled harmlessly into space. The Varun crew panicked. Their strongest weapon had failed before it could fire. "We are losing everything," Commander Zareen shouted. "Their numbers are small." Why can they do this? Jake watched the chaos from the bridge. He felt no satisfaction. He only felt calm. Humans had waited decades for this moment. They had survived extinction, rebuilt, and now they had the chance to show the galaxy that they were not weak. Every move of the enemy had already been predicted. The humans were in complete control. Lily Ross turned to him. "They are trying to flee," she said. "But we have blocked their escape routes." It's too late for them now. Small human squadrons intercepted retreating Varan ships. Engines were disabled, and weapons shut down before the aliens could fire. Humans were not reckless. They did not destroy more than necessary. They wanted the message to be clear. You cannot attack humanity and escape unscathed. On another human ship, Ryan Clark sent a simple message to his team: disable the engines of the flagship completely. Leave them alive, but make sure they cannot fight. Rescue any survivors we can. Minutes later, the Varun flagship was immobilized. Alarms blared, but humans were already boarding another critical ship to neutralize it. The battle moved swiftly, but humans maintained complete control. The Baron realized that this was not chaos. It was strategy. Humans were not fighting blindly. They were disciplined, precise, and merciless when necessary. The remaining Varyun cruisers attempted a desperate escape. They fired blindly at human ships, but it was useless. Small human strike teams blocked every route, disabling engines and weapons. The aliens realized for the first time that humans were no longer a weak, planet-bound species. They were a coordinated fleet, capable of striking anywhere, at any time, and teaching consequences to anyone who had attacked them. On the bridge of the human flagship, Jake gave another order. Hold formation. Do not attack unless fired upon. Continue boarding and disabling weapons. Prepare to take prisoners. Captain Lily Ross nodded. We are not here to destroy everything. We are here to show them the consequences. Humans do not kill blindly. We fight smart and we endure. As the battle continued, humans moved through the Varyun fleet like shadows. They disabled weapons, rescued prisoners, and maintained perfect coordination. The Varyun crews were terrified, confused, and unable to respond effectively. Their fleet, once feared across the galaxy, had become a collection of disabled ships waiting for surrender. Inside the Varyun flagship, chaos reigned. The bridge was full of alarms, flashing lights, and screaming officers. Zareen shouted orders, but nothing worked. The humans had anticipated every move. Strike teams had cut power to key systems, and the crew had no way to fight back. We underestimated them, muttered a junior officer. We destroyed their planet, and we thought they were gone. We were wrong. Deadly wrong, another replied. They survived, and they have learned everything we did. Far away, on a neutral trail-in station, Seren and Chiron watched the battle unfold on their sensors. Chiron's antennas twitched nervously. Sir, the humans, they are not just surviving. They are controlling the fight completely. This changes everything. Seren nodded slowly. The galaxy has always underestimated humans. They endure. They adapt. They are patient. And now they are showing the cost of underestimating them. On the human flagship, Jake watched the final Varyun ship surrender. Alarms continued to blare, but humans had maintained control. No human ships had been lost. The remaining alien crews were alive, though disabled, and the message had been sent. Humans were back, stronger and smarter than ever. Captain Lily Ross turned to him. They will never forget this, she said. The galaxy will think twice before attacking a human world again. Good, Jake replied. Humans do not forget. Humans do not forgive easily. The message is simple, clear, and deadly. You wanted war. Now face the consequences. Small human squads moved through the remaining Varyun ships, disabling systems and taking prisoners where possible. Humans were not cruel. They were precise. They were survivors. They were humanity. And the galaxy had finally learned that underestimating Earth was a mistake that could not be repeated. Back in deep space, the human fleet regrouped. Commander spoke quietly with teams. Strike teams returned to ships, engines recharged, weapons systems checked. Humans had not rushed. They had not panicked. Every step had been calculated, every strike purposeful. They had survived centuries of fear, attack, and near extinction. Now, they had the upper hand. Far across the battlefield, the last Varyun ships floated, powerless. Crew members whispered fearfully. They survived. They adapted. They are humans. On the human flagship, Jake Morales looked at the stars. Decades of training, survival, and preparation had led to this day. Humans had endured the destruction of their planet. They had hidden, rebuilt, and waited. The galaxy had judged them weak, and now the consequences had begun. Captain Lily Ross placed a hand on his shoulder. The first lesson is complete, she said. Now we prepare for the next. Yes, Jake replied. Humans fight smart, humans endure, and humans survive. They will remember this day, and they will remember what it means to attack Earth. The human fleet moved quietly, waiting for further commands. The Varian had been defeated, their fleet crippled, their crews captured or disabled. The galaxy would never again assume humans were weak. Hidden behind the nebula clouds, humans were calm, precise, and ready. Decades of survival had led to this moment, and now humanity was teaching the galaxy the true meaning of consequences. As the last transmission repeated across the void of space, the voice was calm, clear, and deadly. You wanted war. Now face the consequences. The galaxy shivered. The humans were back, and this time no one would ever forget the cost of underestimating them. The battle was over. The Varian fleet was crippled, their strongest ships disabled, their crews either captured or scattered. Humans had lost no ships and suffered minimal casualties. The message had been sent, the lesson delivered. The galaxy now knew that Earth had survived, rebuilt, and become a force that could not be ignored. On the human flagship, Commander Jake Morales stood quietly on the bridge. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, calm and silent after the chaos. The Varuan prisoners were secured in holding compartments. They were terrified, unsure what awaited them. Decades of arrogance had taught them nothing. Now, they were learning the consequences of underestimating humanity. Captain Lily Ross walked beside him.
They think this is punishment, she said.
But it is not. It is a lesson. The galaxy will remember this day.
Exactly, Jake replied.
We do not destroy needlessly. We teach. We endure. We survive. This is what it means to face humans. Far away, the remaining Varian ships retreated, trying to escape the human blockade. But humans allowed only minimal freedom. They were not cruel. They were measured. The goal was not total annihilation. It was control, order, and a demonstration that attacking humans came with consequences. On another human ship, Officer Chloe Diaz coordinated communication with captured alien leaders. The message was simple. They had been defeated. Their fleet was crippled. They would not be destroyed further if they agreed to peace and cooperation. The Varian were shocked. No other species in the galaxy fought like this. They expected humans to be weak, angry, or reckless. Instead, they found humans disciplined, precise, and merciful when possible. Ryan Clark and Maya Bennett moved through the captured ships, checking the prisoners and ensuring order. Even in victory, humans maintained discipline. They treated prisoners with care, offering basic sustenance and safety. This was foreign to the aliens, who expected brutality, vengeance, and indiscriminate violence. On the Trellin station, Sarin and Chiron observed everything through distant sensors. Chiron's antennas twitched nervously. Sir, the humans, they are not just surviving. They are ruling this battle completely. The galaxy will never think the same way again.
Saren nodded slowly. Africa was at Mega.
Humans do not conquer for power. They survive, they endure, and they fight with purpose. The galaxy has learned something important. Never underestimate Earth. On the human flagship, Jake addressed the Varun leaders through a secure channel. The alien faces appeared on the holographic display, pale and terrified. Their eyes widened as they realized the full scale of their defeat. Your fleet is crippled, Jake said calmly. Your weapons are disabled. Your crews are accounted for.
You attacked a planet you thought weak. You underestimated the humans.
Now you must face the consequences. Zareen, the Baruan commander, trembled. We did not expect this. We thought humans were gone. We thought Earth was destroyed. We did not know.
And that was your mistake, Jake said.
Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans survive. Attacking us comes with a cost you cannot ignore. You will dismantle your warships under supervision, repay the worlds you attacked, and ensure peace. If you break these terms, humans will return. Stronger, faster, and more precise than you can imagine. The alien leaders were silent, shocked. Decades of arrogance, decades of conquest had brought them to this moment of surrender. They realized for the first time that humans were not just survivors. They were a species the galaxy had misunderstood completely. On the human fleet, small teams moved to secure the remaining alien ships. They disabled weapon systems, ensured crew safety, and maintained perfect coordination. Humans were precise, disciplined, and merciful when possible. They did not destroy without reason. They demonstrated control, efficiency, and strategy. The Varyun had no choice but to comply. Lily Ross spoke to Jake quietly.
They will never underestimate humans again. They will never attack another human world without thinking.
This is the consequence.
Yes, Jake replied.
They know now. Humans are not just survivors. We endure, we adapt, and we teach lessons that cannot be ignored. Far across the galaxy, news of the human victory spread. Traders, diplomats, and scouts relayed reports of the battle and the last transmission from Earth. The message was simple, direct, and chilling. You wanted war. Now face the consequences. Species across the stars realized that Earth had survived, rebuilt, and become a force to respect. In hidden colonies far from known space, humans watched the aftermath calmly. They had trained for decades, survived attacks, and now demonstrated that they were ready for the galaxy. Colonies sent small ships to reinforce distant outposts, ensuring that humans could respond quickly anywhere. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak, but humans had prepared for centuries, and now the cost of war against Earth was clear. On one human ship, Ryan Clark looked at the prisoners. He did not feel hate or anger. He felt calm satisfaction. Humans had endured, humans had survived, and humans had ensured that the galaxy would never underestimate them again. It was a lesson delivered with precision, not cruelty. The Varyun leaders, now held securely, began dismantling their ships under supervision. They had no choice. Humans controlled the battlefield and the terms of surrender. The galaxy would see that Earth had survived and that humans did not fight recklessly. They fought smart, disciplined, and with purpose. The consequences of war with humans were now clear. On the human flagship, Jake Morales and Lily Ross watched the remaining alien ships being secured. Humans had not only survived, they had rebuilt, trained, and now enforced order. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries, but that would never happen again. Humans endure, Jake said softly. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And humans ensure that the galaxy remembers the cost of attacking Earth. Lily nodded. We do not rule the galaxy. We do not seek conquest, but we will protect ourselves. And we will ensure the cost of war is understood. That is the human way. The fleet regrouped, engines ready, weapon systems checked. Humans did not rush. They waited calmly, observing the galaxy, prepared for any threats. They had survived the destruction of their homeworld, adapted in secret, and now ensured the galaxy could not ignore them again. Far across space, the last transmission from Earth repeated in a calm, steady human voice, "You wanted war. Now face the consequences." The words traveled across the stars, reaching alien fleets, distant colonies, and hidden stations. The message was simple, direct, and undeniable. The galaxy had learned a hard truth. Humans were back, strong, disciplined, and ready. Back on the human flagship, Jake turned to Lily. "The galaxy will never forget this day," he said. "We do not fight recklessly. We do not kill without reason. But we endure, we adapt, and we enforce consequences. The universe has learned what it means to face humanity." Lily smiled softly, "And they will think twice before declaring war again." The human fleet moved quietly through space, ready to respond wherever needed. They had survived, adapted, and enforced the consequences of war. The galaxy had underestimated them for too long. Now humans were no longer a weak planet-bound species. They were a force the galaxy would respect, fear, and never forget. As the stars stretched endlessly ahead, the human fleet remained calm and precise. Centuries of survival had led to this moment. The message from Earth had been sent, the lesson delivered. The galaxy had learned. Attacking humans came with a price. Hidden behind the nebula, the human flagship waited silently. Jake Morales looked at the stars and whispered to himself, "The galaxy will never underestimate Earth again." And across space, the last transmission repeated once more, steady and unyielding. "You wanted war. Now face the consequences." The humans had endured. They had survived. They had enforced the consequences, and the galaxy would remember forever.